Alright guys, let's see how well this air conditioner sound blanket actually works. I can't tell if that's picking it up on the thing here, but it is currently... I'm going to stop talking, we're going to read the decibels. Let's turn this to slow. So it looks like we're about 50 decibels, and that's when it's completely quiet. You can barely hear any birds chirping. There is no airplanes in the air, just background, distant background noise. So let's call it 50 decibels. And let's go ahead and turn the unit on, and we'll see what it sounds like without the sound mat installed. The airplanes here are ridiculous. All right, let's go ahead and turn this on. Oh, I should add I'm about 30 feet away from the unit. All right, let's turn it on. Cool. And now let me set the temperature down a couple degrees so it comes on. So I'm going to say about 53 decibels at 30 feet. Let's move up to about 20 feet. I don't know, we'll say 57 decibels at 20 feet. We are now at 10 feet. Let's call that 62 decibels. Let's go 5 feet. Let's call that 65 decibels. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off, pull the disconnect, we're going to open the lid up, we're going to put that mat inside, and then we're going to do the same thing, and I'm going to do it from reverse. We're going to go 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, and we'll see how much of a difference it makes. But like I said, this compressor is already super quiet. This is a Copeland scroll compressor, and it is very quiet. The only time you really can hear a lot of noise from it is on startup and on shutdown. If you get right up on it, you can hear a gentle hum. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up alongside of it, and we're going to get down low in the middle where the compressor is, and we're going to try to get a decibel reading there, and that hopefully will cut out some of the fan noise. Now, in case you're interested, I just went on Amazon and I looked for decibel meters that had really good reviews, and a lot of reviews, like thousands, tens of thousands. And then I went on YouTube and I just did some YouTube watching to see what other people said about these. And so this seemed to be one of the top ones. It's a Top Test TS 501B, so I went ahead and bought one of these. And so far, it seems to work really good. It's better than trying to use a decibel app on your phone, because those don't really work that well. You can try them on 4 different phones and they'll be, 5, 10, 15 decibels off between all of them. So it's better to have something that is known to be calibrated to work like it's supposed to. So I'm going to get down here, kind of try to get actually I'm just going to take the microphone off my shirt. I'm going to hold it up down about a foot off the ground, facing towards the inside of the unit, and maybe 6 inches away, and we'll then compare that audio profile to the one after the sound mat's installed. So I'm also going to get a reading from about the same area. I can hear the hum of the compressor from here. I'll move the microphone down in a second. Let's call it 75.5. And this is without the sound deadening blanket installed. All right, let me hold the mic at the same distance. All right. That should give us a good sound profile that we can compare with the other one we're going to take here in a minute and see what the difference is. Let me get this turned off. We'll pull the disconnect on it and we'll get that sound mat installed. Okay, that's off. Let me show you the disconnect. If you guys are going to do this, be safe. Turn off your breaker. Turn off the unit at your thermostat. And you should have either a disconnect or a breaker outside. So you're going to want to turn that off. In my case, I have a disconnect. And for this one, you just pull, there's a little metal insert here. You just pull that out. So I'll pull you up, get you a close-up of that. Ooh, the mosquitoes are out too, guys. Buzzing my ears. Good thing I'm not allergic to them anymore. They can suck on my blood all day long and nothing happens. Okay, hopefully that is picking it up. So right here is a disconnect. When you can read the word up here the correct way, it means it's on. If it was off, the off would be over here and you'd be able to read it too. Right now the off is upside down, tells us we're in the on position. So you just basically grab here, pull it out, and I just set it on top of the box and I'll leave the box open. So now we're safe to work on this unit. All right, so this just has 4 screws on the top here. Go ahead and take your screws out. Set them aside so you don't lose them. Like so, I'm just going to set mine on the box over here. And then what we're going to do, now most of the units are going to be like this. There's going to be a tube that has wires running into it over to the fan. We need to pull this out gently without breaking any wires and without breaking the unit itself. So double check, make sure you have your disconnect pulled, make sure your power's turned off, make sure the unit's turned off. Make sure the unit's turned off at the actual thermostat. So I'm going to pull this out like this, and I'm just going to set it back out of the way just enough to get down in there to get that mat in. Don't let it fall, it might cut the wires on the fan. So there it is. Let me get you deeper down in there so you can see what it looks like. So there is the compressor. This is a Copeland scroll. I don't know if you can read that on the side there. Let me turn you this way. That is a Copeland scroll compressor. This unit has been recently cleaned. I cleaned it. I did not film it. I should have, because to clean these properly, you have to do what I'm doing now, and I pretty much took the top off. But on these units, you have to unscrew all these side panels and take all 4 of them off. And guys, they do have these on Amazon and other online retailers. So if you want to do this yourself, put your own mat in there, you can do it. Here's our mat. Now I did have to open this up a little more. I cut this open a little bit, and I cut this on the top a little bit, because both of those are going to need those holes. I think this one's for the wires, and these ones are for the pipes. So let me go ahead and get this set down in there. So basically we're just going to drop it on top, just like a hat. Just like so. And I think those little notches on the ends were to go around the feet. So they kind of thought of everything here. Now the fun part is going to be me leaning over in there to lock those Velcro pieces in place. So I may have to do a little fancy work here to do that. I might have to move this fan over some more. Without damaging the wires. Whew, top of the thing is hot from the sun. There's that. Guys, lean down in here. Pull these wires through. Whew. I'm tall, guys, but I don't know how somebody much shorter than me could do this. So I've got the bottom Velcroed up. Let me get the side here. All right, I think I have that buttoned up pretty good. Whew. Dripping sweat, dripping sweat. Ah! That was close. All right. Alrighty. I think we got it. Hopefully you got to see most of that. Let me stick you down in there. See how those cutouts right around the little feet? Let's try to get a view like this. I'm not sure if this camera can focus this close up, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a try. So hopefully that Velcro is all the way fastened. All right. There it is. So now let's go measure the decibels and see how well it performs. Actually, I fibbed a little bit. We're gonna put the fan back in first. Let me just double check my Velcro. Feels pretty good. You probably could go with thicker insulation. That did not fill the entire thing. It's kind of got a space all around it. So to put this back in, this guy has a little notch right here. And you just turn it until it fits in the space. And then you make sure that you have all of your wire pushed up into it. And then just slide it back down in, like so. Line up your holes. Make sure no wire got pinched up in there. Go ahead and reinstall your screws. Careful not to drop them. You don't want to have to fish them out. And if you drop these on the ground, sometimes they're real hard to find unless you like have your eyeball on them the entire time. So I'm just going to hand start these. Don't over tighten these. Sheet metal's thin. And even from the factory, they just go to town on these things. They got a gorilla. They have a gorilla or three working in the factory. And they over tighten these and pull them through and strip them. Let's go ahead and reinstall our disconnect. So you want to make sure you can read the word on properly. And you're going to go ahead and line it up and push it on in. And then you can go ahead and turn your breaker back on, and you can turn your air conditioner back on. There you go, all done. So now let's go ahead and take our meter readings. Unit is now on. The little foamy thing came off. All right, the unit's now on. Let's see what we got. Let's call that 77.5. Okay. $55.56. All right, let's go 10 feet away, or 10 feet closer. So it looked like 56 and a half. Let's go 10 more feet. So right here, we are approximately 10 feet away now. Looking about 60, 60 and a half. Now there's a plane right overhead again. Let's go about 5 feet away. Remember, a lot of this is fan noise too. So it looks like 64 and a half to 65. I'm gonna get right up close to it again because last time it actually was louder. It was somehow louder. Uh-oh, she turned off. Probably popped the battery out of it. Uh-oh, that's not good. It only does min and max, it doesn't do an average. And that's over the entire time. So that was more like 74 and a half to 75. All right, let's go tabulate our results. All right, guys, so we did two things here. We went over how to repair your disintegrating compressor blanket, and I also went over the benefits of having a compressor blanket in the first place to reduce noise if you actually do have a super noisy compressor. So you can buy those online. I see them on Amazon, not super high price, maybe $100, $140 range, and they get excellent reviews. Everybody says they quieted their noisy compressor. They were able to sleep at night. They were able to watch TV without having to crank the volume up. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Hopefully if you have a noisy compressor, it'll solve your problem. So as always, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Kevin's Way Works.